Hey paper dolls, this is Madeline. Welcome back to my channel. I am here today because I am participating in the 2025 hashtag Give a Scrap collab hosted over by Angela at the Traveling Crafter. And we are doing this, or she's hosting this this month because it's Earth Day, and encouraging us to use our scraps to reuse and be a little bit more earth friendly for Earth Day this month. And she has also encouraged us to tag some other creators to film a video and participate. And so I'm gonna challenge Amber at the Thrifty Journal Shop, Mehataj at Boho Needs, and Dawn at Emerald Mama's Creations to do a video and participate in the hashtag Give a Scrap. Okay? So you'll find all of the information about this collab down in the description box. All right. So let's get right into the project we are doing today. And it starts out with the cover of one of these paper pads from the Paper Studio that you get at Hobby Lobby. Okay, I'm sure I'm not the first person to do this, but one of my favorite things to do is to cut out all of these here and make little tags, tabs, page edge decorations. You could even make a journaling spot, a tuck spot with them. So I have actually just used up a paper pad. And so I went ahead and cut out the top. I do not use the ones that have got like the tape on them because I don't prefer the shiny, but this is a really good way, in my opinion, to use the cover of your pad and really upcycle it into something very creative for your junk journaling. So, as I said, I have gone through and gone ahead and cut some of these up, and I'm gonna do just a few more right here. And let's make something fun, all right? So I'm going to grab my my little corner puncher, and I have got my ink nearby as well. I also have nearby other scraps. I've got some fabric and lace scraps in here, and I have also got nearby my some paper scraps. And usually when I'm doing clusters or something like that, I do usually some lined paper. I always have wallpaper on hand. I really like to use matte paper. This is a fly page of a book, and of course, like just some regular vintage paper. These may be from like Dick and Jane books or something. So I'm going to start out by taking all my little squares, and I'm going to take a few and just trim the edges, okay, and give them a nice rounded edge. To me, that makes it look a little bit more finished and less like a piece that I just cut off the front of a paper pad, okay? But this is a really good, thicker, heavier cardstock. So it really is a great material for making ephemera for your junk journals. So I'm very happy to be participating in this collab. I remember from when I was very young, learning about Earth Day in school. We used to have somebody named Steve Trash that would come every April, and he dressed in trash, and he told everybody about how to reduce, reuse, recycle. And really, since then, I've been, a huge, fan of upcycling, recycling, and taking care of our planet. Something else I like to do is I have a few of my paper punches nearby. Okay, and so to make this a little bit extra fun, I'm going to take my paper scraps, and I'm going to go through, and I'm going to punch out some things with my punchers, some shapes with my, and I'm doing smaller ones because you know, this is going to be a smaller embellishment here. And I'm just going to use all my different things. Which this is something I like to do, and I love to make paper confetti using all my punches, and go through and send them, you know, for a little, and that's cute because I can just get that little flower right there, you know, as extras with my journal sometimes, just as a way to learn to layer and, you know, make embellishments. Okay. Let's see, and then I think I'm going to take my whale tail tab maker here and maybe do some book page with that in case we want to use some of that. Okay, and let me get this one out and do some lined paper. I really like to use the different kinds of paper, the different textures, the different patterns. Okay, that looks really nice, all that. All right, so now I'm going to go over here into my fabric scraps and have them nearby. So I'm going to take all my little punches, and I'm really just going to start to layer them up in different ways. So I'm going to take that, maybe put it right there. And this will be maybe like a corner, like page edge embellishment. You could take some down here and make a little cluster situation. You know, make this a side tuck. I was gonna take this here, maybe put it here, make a little, you know, a place for journaling right there. I mean, there's just a ton. I mean, really, the possibilities are endless with what you could do with all of these things. So let's just get started with this one maybe. And I'm gonna get some ink here. I'm just gonna ink the edges. Okay, and then I'm gonna ink the edges here. Yeah, growing up in my house, my mom was always a big recycler. You know, we separated everything and drove things to our recycling, you know, plant in our area. And, you know, it's just something that was sort of instilled with me and at an early age, which is why I'm just really happy and, you know, grateful to be participating in this collab and, you know, sharing my love of recycling and upcycling. Okay, so I kind of like that layered up right there. So I'm going to get my glue out for this one. And I usually staple these, but today I think I'm just going to glue to make it very flush, you know, not add any extra bulk to these. Okay. And so I'm just going to glue a little tab at the top like this. Okay, that looks good. Love that. And then I'm just going to make a little layered embellishment here on the tab with my punches. And there you have it. Like that. Super fun. I'm going to put this to the side and let that dry. Okay, now I've got these fun in my scraps, these fun little embellishments. Oh, these are really fun too. I love these, this embellish. Well, that shouldn't all be in my scrap, but I'm going to cut a bit of this out here. I love these flowers. I love this lace. It's one of my favorite laces with the flowers. Okay, and I'll use this silver one for another different embellishment. And I think with this one here, let me grab my ink around the edge here. I'm going to do a page edge decoration with this and add a little blue kind of underneath there like that. Okay. Or we could do it to the side like that and make a tab, but I think I'm going to go up in the corner with this one. And I just think that would look so beautiful hanging off the edge of a page. So let me put a little glue right here. And maybe let's add a little piece of matte page right here. Okay. And then I'm just going to glue the bottom part of this down like that. Okay. And there you go. I mean, how cute is that? And you could even, hang on, go in here and this, and get a little teeny tiny label. Like that, and add just a little teeny tiny label, and that would really finish it off. Okay, and there you go. Yeah, this is a really fun kind of activity to do when you're maybe not feeling so creative and, you know, you just need something easy to sort of, if you're in a rut, you know, just kind of get your creativity, your juices flowing or whatever. This is just a really, a great activity for that, in my opinion, because you really can, it's really just simple to sit here, get a few things and just layer, just layering texture, color. I'm going to take a little of this lace, and I like to rip off the edges sometimes to give it a bit of a frayed, worn look. And I think with this one, we're going to make kind of a larger cluster, layered embellishment. Okay, so we're going to do that, and I'm going to get some more, let me grab some more scraps. I don't see the color I really love for. Oh, this would be, actually this would be good. I have a big scrap of this. So let me punch out a little of this here. And I'm gonna punch out my matte page, a bigger, like just a solid blue. And let's see, maybe kind of make a little cluster of 3, layer that together. And I am going to use my stapler just to kind of hold that together. And I'm going to put this in the center. So let's glue it down. Okay. And we're going to glue this down here like that. Give that a minute to adhere. And then I also have my little Tim Holtz stickers, my little word stickers from Tim Holtz. And I thought one of these would be nice on here too. So let's do Make It Count. All right. And I'm just going to add an extra dot of glue on this just to make sure it stays. And I'm going to add that right there. Okay. And there you go. It's a little layered embellishment. Yeah, I really like the words on that. Let's do another one that's kind of similar. Okay, I've got this pink matte page, which is very fun. And since that's a little darker, maybe I can use some of my little lighter things I've cut out. Okay. As most of you know, here at my channel, I love hunting for treasures in the wild, vintage treasures, things I can upcycle, whether it be quilts or sheets or anything else. It's my absolute favorite thing to do, and my favorite part of, one of my favorite parts of this hobby is just keeping stuff out of the landfill, you know, keeping things, you know, reusing things, you know, keeping things out of our landfills. Let me do a little of this, you know, upcycling book covers, things like that. So I think for this one, I'm gonna maybe do this here and use this little piece of silver flower I had from before. Okay, and maybe go up in the corner like that. Give it a staple. Okay, and then let's do another sentiment, because I am loving the way that's looking. Since this is a map, let's see if we can find one sort of about travel. Here we go. How about explore down here at the bottom? This would be cute in like a travel journal or something like that. Here we go. Explore. All right. There we go. Add a little bit more glue here. Just want to make sure I get that good and adhered. Hold that a second. There we go. Lovely. All right, now I've got this pretty purple one. Oh, now that looks really kind of pretty across there, doesn't it? Okay, I'm going to do that. I don't really think that needs much else besides, you know, that at the top. So let's just ink around here. Okay, and because this does have some dimension to it, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and I am gonna use my stapler here, and I'm just gonna put a staple in between the flowers to kind of hold this on. Okay, and then let's add a sentiment. What are we gonna do here? I'm gonna use something that would look cute here, like right underneath. How about this happy life? There we go. Sometimes I think I like these stickers, but sometimes I think they get lost in larger embellishments. I don't know about y'all, but I just think they get lost. And sometimes when you're doing something smaller like this, it really just becomes a really pretty focal point. Okay, this is super fun. Let's make a few more. Okay, so I'm just gonna do my little edger and punch a few more. And I have got actually a great idea for this yellow one. I'm looking at a scrap I've got right there of a really pretty piece of dyed lace. And I think that would just look so gorgeous. Let's see, layered there like that. What do y'all think? All right, so what I'm gonna do here is maybe even make that a teeny tiny pocket. Am I in frame? Can y'all see that? I'm gonna make that a little bitty pocket. So I'm gonna just take my glue and just put a bead of glue around the edge, the bottom edge of the card. Okay, and I am just going to center this, kind of pop it on, give it a little press to get it good and adhered. Okay. Oops. And then let me get my fabric scissors, because sometimes I think they cut the lace a little bit nicer. And I'm going to go around the edges and cut it out. cute. So cute. And that one, I'm gonna take my little, and I'm just gonna maybe slip that in there. No, I don't love that. Let's see here what I have in my scraps that I can put. Maybe nothing, oh yes. I have a lot of scraps of this just from making some journals. And yeah, like a piece of this actually it might be cute, just kind of peeking out right there just for a little teeny tiny journaling place. Oh, that is cute. Okay, now let's get our words out. Maybe let's do a word that might stand out. Let's see. Let's put story right here, maybe. Okay. Center that. All right. And then there you go. Cute little spot. And I wouldn't put anything too heavy in this pocket. Just a little something like that. Just adds a little interest. And you just have a teeny tiny little place. You can make a little list, jot down an idea. If you're like me, you'd get a phone call about a time, an appointment, and need a place just to write it down. But that's cute too. All right. So let's ink this one up and see what we can do next. I mean, I'm like just having such a good time doing this. The last time I did this, I think, was with a Christmas paper pad. And I can't remember if I just cut it down to maybe, you know, use next year or something. I don't remember if I actually sat here and did this, but this is one of my favorite little scrap busters. And the other thing is with this side is like a little bit shiny. And to me, that doesn't always, like, I don't know. It seems like when I'm trying to make a spine or something like that, I want both pages, like both sections, to have a little texture. So to me, I think they like grip and glue a little better. I mean, that's probably just me, but so this is a great use. And ooh, I've got some vintage music page, which it's little, so it'd be good for this. Oh, this is very cute. All right. Let's see, maybe a page edge decoration for this side. So if you're putting it on, you know, right, the left side of your book, I guess, you would have a little edge decoration there. And then let's get out one of our little teeny punches. Okay, I'm just gonna add a little glue here. Now, if you had a sewing machine and you were a sewer on paper, it would be a really great idea to sew, but I don't always like to use my sewing machine when I'm doing tutorials because, you know, not everybody has a sewing machine. And I think it's important to do things that, you know, you can do with or without. Okay, that's kind of fun. Let's see what I have for scraps. I can maybe, let's see, this is really pretty. Let's see, oh, this is fun. This is a fun scrap. It's just like a nice edge piece of a linen. Maybe, oh yeah, let's do that. That is really fun. Okay. So I'm just going to go in here and put glue down. Every little piece can be used. And before I glue that down, I'm going to take my pinking shears and I'm going to pink this so it doesn't fray as bad. Which I love my pinking shears. I love them so much. I have a pair. This is for paper or fabric. I have a pair that's just for fabric. And I use them quite a bit. I really, really love my pinking shears. All right. And so I highly recommend picking up a pair. Oh, that is cute, y'all. I love that. And I feel like it needs a little something extra. I know, a little label. Let's put a little label on there. Let's see. Ooh. Let's see. That's too big. That one maybe. Oh yeah, that would be really cute, wouldn't it, right there? Okay. All right, so I'm just gonna add a little glue, and I'm just gonna maybe try to put it like right there. Just kind of, it's not gonna be totally flush there, but I like the way it adds a little something, but it'll be mostly flush. So there's another idea. All right, y'all, so let's see what we're up to with ideas. We have got this, we have got that one, we have these, and we have made all of these in what, 25 minutes? I mean, that's not bad. All right, so go through your paper pads. I encourage you to go through your paper pads and, you know, see if you have some that would work, you know, for this project. And, you know, make a video, upload, and participate in the Give a Scrap challenge that's going on this month. And I hope y'all have a great April. I'll talk to you soon, paper dolls. Bye.